Is Mackay the Art Deco capital of Queensland? Well, I'm going to show you my top 10 most favourite Art Deco buildings in town, and you can help me decide. I'm actually standing in front of my number one pick. It's my absolute favourite out of all the Art Deco buildings in town, but I'm not going to give you any more clues. You'll have to stick around and watch to the end of the video to find out what it is. Hello everyone, I'm Marianne Taylor. I'm an architectural historian called the House Detective, and I research buildings and houses all over Australia. I'm currently visiting family in Mackay, so I thought I would take the opportunity to put together an episode on the amazing Art Deco architecture in this town. My top 10 favourite buildings are located on only 3 streets: Victoria Street, Wood Street and Sydney Street, and they were all built between 1935 and 1942, which was a peak period for Art Deco architecture in Australia. So come along with me and we'll have a look at these incredible buildings. Number 10, the Cominos building. This was built for Nicholas Demetrios Cominos and it was completed in 1936. When it opened, it was a watchmaker's shop, and I found these amazing ads in the newspaper where Nicholas guarantees that he can make your watch tell the truth. Isn't that wonderful? So this building was designed by the impressively named Harold Vivian Marsh Brown. Now you're going to hear that name a lot in this episode because he was the most prominent architect in Mackay in the 1930s and 40s, and he designed so many of the buildings in the city, and he also is responsible for many of the Art Deco ones. So as you can see, this building behind me is a pretty restrained example of the Art Deco style. It's quite simple, but it's very elegant. It's got a number of features that characterize the Art Deco style. And this starts with the stepped pediment at the top. Now, a pediment is a wall that rises above the roof and hides it, and they're often filled with lovely decoration, particularly in Art Deco buildings. And you can see up there in the center, it's got that lovely fin design, and the whole front of the building has a real focus on vertical lines. So you've got the tall, narrow windows, you've got the lovely fin details, and that's another characteristic of Art Deco buildings. The other interesting feature about this building, which sets it apart from any of the others you'll see today, is it was actually built with a laneway underneath it to get access to the back of the building. And that remarkably remains today, although the front of the building at street level has been changed a fair bit. But yeah, another cool feature of this one. Another common feature on Art Deco buildings was the use of geometric motifs, so lots of angular shapes and forms, that type of thing. And this building, when it was originally built, had lovely decorative brickwork above the windows that made some lovely shapes. But in crimes against architecture, someone has painted over these at some point in history, but you can still kind of see the outlines of them here, and that would have just added to the facade, the decorative appeal of the facade when it was first built. Nonetheless, even though they've been painted over, I think you'll agree it's still a lovely example of an Art Deco building. Number 9, Grant's building. So you can see this a lovely building behind me. It's got the stepped parapet and the fins up the middle, which is characteristic of the Art Deco style. This, though, is actually the 3rd Grant's building on this site. The first one was built in 1881. It burnt down. They built another one in 1897, and this one replaced it in 1941 in the style that was popular at the time, the Art Deco style. The Grant family actually owned this block of land for over 80 years, and a number of different generations operated businesses out of this premises. But originally it was a cabinet maker's workshop and a furniture display room. And they ran the business from there for 75 years. So it's got a big connection to the Grant family, and it is still known as Grant's building. Number 8, the Williams Building. Now, this has got to be a pretty good building because that's my husband's surname. And he also tells me that Jeremiah Bullfrogs has been here since Moses played as halfback for the Jerusalem All Saints. So,
sorry, he played fullback for the Jerusalem All Saints?
oh, sorry, my mistake, fullback. And before that, it was Thornings, I believe, for a long time. So thanks for that local input. It was another design by HVM Brown. It was built by William Guthrie. The Guthrie brothers built quite a few of the buildings in town. The building was built for a doctor, Dr. C.E. Williams. So that's where it gets the name from. No relation, as far as I know, to my husband. But as you can see, it's a lovely big building and it has got those beautiful vertical fins, so characteristic of the Art Deco style as well. Number 7, the Palace Hotel. This was built in 1939 and it is thought to be the first building in Mackay to have a concrete cantilevered veranda. Now, this veranda is also interesting because it's very horizontal and you can see that the verandas itself, the awning and the roof over the veranda have very strong horizontal lines. So I would actually classify this more as interwar functionalist rather than a pure Art Deco building. But this is where things get a bit tricky. Some people believe that the interwar functionalist style is actually a subset of Art Deco, and some people think that it should be a completely different style. So you might have seen variations of the functionalist style. It's also known as streamlined modern or ocean liner design, and it was basically inspired by the style of things that were being built in the 20s and 30s. So it's got the machines, trains, ships, as I mentioned, the ocean liners, they've all got very strong horizontal lines, very curved, very slick, very streamlined. And that's what's different to the pure Art Deco style. It is much more ornamented, much more decorative, many more geometrical designs. It's much more emphasized by vertical lines rather than horizontal. And that's the key difference. You can see that the parapet has some great Art Deco designs on it. So I think we can sneak it into my top 10 anyway. And it's just a gorgeous building. So arguments aside, I think you can still classify it as Art Deco and it just looks absolutely gorgeous. And it really is a beautiful landmark on this corner. And unlike a lot of the other hotels, this one is still indeed used as a pub. Number 6, Chesley House. You can see behind me here, it's an absolutely gorgeous example of the Art Deco style with those lovely vertical fins on the facade. Now, this was built in 1937 by J. Michael Moore & Co. And it was a department store when it was first built. And it was built by Archie McDonald. And you will never guess who designed it. That's right, it's our old mate Brownie. HVM Brown was the architect. And you can see that it's got those classic Art Deco features, as I mentioned, and it's also got some gorgeous lettering on it. The style of the font on this is absolutely beautiful as well. Number 5, Hotel Mackay. Isn't it gorgeous? So this building was completed in 1940, and yes, it's another one designed by our old friend Brownie. It is another example of the interwar functionalist style. As you can see, it's got that streamlined modern curves, those sexy curves on it. And it is absolutely stunning. And again, I love the font up the top there. It is the most Art Deco font you can ever want. It's absolutely gorgeous. And very exciting, it's currently getting a facelift. So I can't wait to see what this looks like when that's finished. So quick update, we were just walking past having a sticky beak inside, as I do, and the lovely Alex, who's actually working on the building, he gave us the heads up that we could have a quick peek inside, but he also said that when they've been doing the work, they had to strip out, was it 2 ceilings, I think? So 3 ceilings, and then they found underneath that the original ceiling, but they just added layers and layers upon it over the years, and when they pulled up the layers of flooring, they found the original terrazzo floor in the bar area, and they're reinstating that as part of the reno. So that is just so exciting, and I'm so excited to hear that. It's just fantastic. Number 4, the Ambassador Hotel. Now, this impressive building was built for Mrs. Mary Azar in 1937. So I think she must have been a pretty enterprising businesswoman, and I think she must have had a little bit of coin as well, because it's a pretty grand building, as you can see. Now, the unique feature of this hotel was it had a beautiful rooftop garden on the building. So this was one of the only ones in Mackay, if not the only one. But in another crime against architecture, an even worse crime against architecture, they have since built a monstrosity on what was the garden on the roof, and less said about that the better. So let's focus on the other beautiful feature, which is that central design feature, which you can see there in the middle of the building. It is a riot of Art Deco perfection. It's got the gorgeous lettering, it's got all these wonderful motifs around it, and it just makes such a striking feature on the facade. Now, we were trying to actually get access up onto the top of the building because I wanted to show you what's left of the rooftop garden. Sadly, it's all locked up tight. But what I did discover is at the entry, there are these beautiful columns where you go in on the ground level, and there's also a gorgeous balustrade on the set of stairs inside. So there's a few little original features hiding in there, although much has been changed. You'll never guess who designed this one. Haha, I tricked you. It's not Brownie. It's a Townsville architect called Joseph Gabriel Rooney. This lovely building behind me was built in 1942 and it opened as the Imperial Hotel. Sadly though, like a number of the other pubs, it's now the pub with no beer. It's commercial spaces instead, but it's still a gorgeous building. And what I like about this one is it's a bit different. You can see the blend of the two different styles I've been talking about here. You've got the vertical style of the classic Art Deco on the ends with the vertical lines, and then you've got the horizontal lines with the balconies and the railings, which is more that functionalist style that I've been talking about as well. So yeah, I think they work together beautifully though in this building, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and I love the bright colours that it's painted in too. Number 2, the Australian Hotel. Yes, another hotel. There were a lot in Mackay, but I think you'll agree they're all pretty stunning. This one, as you can see, dominates this corner of Wood Street and Victoria Street, and it's got that really impressive corner pediment, and it's even got a flagpole just to crown that off. It's got the lovely Art Deco font along the side and the lovely horizontal lines emphasizing that functionalist design. It's got the gorgeous verandas. It's just absolutely stunning. So this one was built in 1940 by the Conway family, and it was built by the Guthrie brothers. They built a lot of buildings in Mackay and a lot in the Art Deco style. Surprisingly, this one wasn't designed by Brown. It was designed by a Sydney architect, and his name was Edwin Roy Orchard. But I think you'll agree he did a pretty good job. Here we are, building number 1. My top pick for the greatest Art Deco building in Mackay is the Pioneer Shire Council building. It's an absolutely beautiful example of the Art Deco style. It was built in 1935 by William Guthrie, and you guessed it, HVM Brown was the architect. It's a final example of his designs, and I think it's probably the best example of his designs in Mackay. It's got those gorgeous vertical fins again and the lovely detailing. It's got the arches, which are actually a little bit unusual for Art Deco. That's a little bit more Spanish Mission, which was another style that was popular in the interwar period. But I just think it all works beautifully together. But by far, the highlight of this building for me is the gorgeous decorative tiles on the front of the building. They are just so stylized. They epitomize the Art Deco style of art that was also popular at the time, and they feature sugarcane, of course. This city was built on the money from sugarcane, and many of the Art Deco buildings I've shown you have been funded by wealth from the sugar industry. And another cool thing you'll spot around town if you come here is that the rubbish bins and some of the public seating all have sugarcane motifs in the design, which I just think is so cool, really celebrating the agricultural history of this area. But this is my number 1 pick. absolutely stunning building, and it's also the earliest example of Art Deco buildings on this list. So there you go, that was my top 10 Art Deco buildings in Mackay. What do you think? Is it the Art Deco capital of Queensland? I think it would have to be pretty close, although I think Innisfail probably gives it a run for its money. Or do you know of another town in Queensland with lots of Art Deco buildings? Let me know in the comments below and maybe I'll explore that one day. And what did you think of my top 10? Do you agree? What was your favourite? Is there another building in Mackay that I've missed? Let me know in the comments. And while you're clicking away there, like and subscribe as well if you don't mind. That would be great. But that was just Art Deco buildings. There are so many other beautiful historic buildings in Mackay. I will have to cover them next time I come back and visit because there really are some gems here as well. Now, with the Art Deco buildings I've covered, I'll put their names, their addresses in the description below as well. And I'll also put a link to a map showing their location. So if you're ever in the neighborhood, you can come out and check out this incredible Art Deco architecture for yourself. Thanks for watching.